Well, right now on Today in AZ, what is next? We'll tell you what you need to know ahead of another round of COVID-19 vaccine rollouts.
Plus, what's next for students in Peoria? Why it looks like classes will be on hold, at least for now.
And if President Trump gets impeached, does that mean Vice President Mike Pence will be the next president of the United States? We're verifying. Looks like it's going to be another long week here on Today in AZ. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Ryan Cody.
It's Monday morning. Good morning to you. I'm Rachel McNeil. Well, days after rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol, flags are at half-staff this morning following the death of 2 Capitol police officers. In response to the riots, lawmakers say that they're not backing down and plan to hold people accountable for their actions.
Breaking overnight, First Lady Melania Trump is now breaking her silence on the riots at the U.S. Capitol last week. A statement posted on the White House website reads in part, "Our nation must heal in a civil manner. Make no mistake about it, I absolutely condemn the violence that has occurred on our nation's capital. Violence is never acceptable." Now, that statement also reads as a farewell of sorts. The First Lady writes that serving has been, quote, "the honor of my lifetime," and she thanked her supporters over the past 4 years. In just a few minutes, we're breaking down what the Department of Justice plans to do now and what changes are already being put in place in Washington, D.C. So let's send things over to Crystal now because we want to check in on our weather, and a lot of folks wondering how they should dress today. Layers are tough this part of the year because you want to wear them in the morning and then you don't need them in the afternoon.
Absolutely. It's another day with the same temperature tale where we're starting off in the morning with that winter chill. I mean, 4 degrees is all you got going for you right now, Window Rock and the Grand Canyon. So extra layers. 12 in Show Low right now. Payson 24-48 is what we're reading in Phoenix, 31 down towards Sierra Vista. Then this afternoon, it's looking like your typical January 11th kind of day. Phoenix 67, double sixes in Lake Havasu. I think we'll pull off 55 in Kingman, but barely breaking into the 40s for Flagstaff.
Well, at 5:31 this morning, I did see a little bit of traffic building up far in the West Valley. So here's a live look from our ADOT camera. It's the I-10 at Dysart Road there. We do have a good amount of traffic flowing in that area. So remember that if you're heading out within the next few minutes. But let's take a look at this accident here in the East Valley. It's on 51st Street and Elliott Road. It is in the clearing stages. It's still not out of the way yet, so just drive with caution in that area. We do have a lot of green on our maps in the East Valley, and the North Valley, and the South Valley, but we see some traffic building up towards downtown Phoenix. So I'll give you those details coming up in my next report. Rachel?
Thank you, Vanessa. Well, Maricopa County is continuing its rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine. This comes as the state continues to see a huge surge in new deaths and COVID-19 related deaths.
Over the weekend, the Department of Health Services announced there were more than 22,000 new confirmed cases and more than 200 new deaths. That's the entire weekend. More than 11,000 of those cases reported were on Sunday. The death total in Arizona has now topped 10,000.
With numbers like that rolling out from over the weekend, people are more ready than ever to get their vaccines. Team 12's Jen Wall is live this morning with the latest on the rollout. Good morning, Jen.
Yeah, good morning to you guys. So big changes here for the vaccine rollout in Arizona. According to a release from the governor's office and the Arizona Department of Health Services, they're adding another vaccination site that's going to be here at State Farm Stadium. And as early as this afternoon, they're saying that law enforcement and protective services will be able to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Then appointments for others in the phase 1B and 1A groups will open up here at State Farm Stadium starting tomorrow. Health leaders say they'll be able to give up to 6,000 doses per day at this site. According to DHS, so far, nearly 150,000 Arizonans have received the vaccine. Also starting today, Maricopa County is opening appointments for vaccination scheduling at its sites for the 1B group. That includes protective services, teachers, childcare, adults 75 and older, and others. Now, we're told those appointments will be limited at first across Maricopa County as they're still vaccinating the phase 1A healthcare workers.
You'll start to see specialized clinics for school staff and child care workers. You'll see pharmacies and federally qualified healthcare centers who have vaccine to offer for those individuals aged 75 and over. So we're not just going to have pods, we're going to have other distribution sites available.
Yeah, so they're really trying to expand this COVID-19 vaccine. As we've seen so far, it's been a pretty slow rollout across the state. And they also tell us they're taking this transition from 1A to 1B for those groups slowly because they're still vaccinating a lot of the phase 1A healthcare workers. And again, they're going to be opening appointments as soon as they can. Now, for how you can make an appointment and scheduling, there's a lot of information there. So let's go ahead and send it back to the studio. And Ryan is going to break all of that down for us.
Yeah, Jen, thanks. So as Maricopa County begins its next phase of the vaccine rollout, a lot of you are probably wondering, how do you get your dose? And like Jen said, this is not open to the public at this point. You do have to sign up in order to get vaccinated. This is what you need to know right now. We can't say it enough. To get vaccinated, you do have to have an appointment. There are no walk-ins allowed. Appointments are limited to people in the phase 1B and 1A category for right now. So if you're in 1A but didn't get your vaccine, you still can sign up. You don't have to be in 1B at this point. It's for both of them. Right now, the vaccine is only available at designated sites, but more locations are expected to open up in the coming weeks. And that new vaccine locations will include places like pharmacies and primary care offices. Just a reminder that phase 1B includes adults age 75 and older, K through 12 school staff, and child care workers, as well as law enforcement and protective services. So for a full look at the vaccine rollout plan, you can head over to 12news.com. Rachel?
Well, as the vaccine rollout continues in Arizona, hospital administrators here and around the country are voicing real concerns about supplies running low, especially oxygen supplies. Experts say oxygen supplies are at critical lows in COVID-19 hotspots around the country. Hospital administrators in Arizona and California report oxygen use up to 4 times the pre-COVID rate. It's a resource scarcity not originally anticipated by medical staff. Several experts have said that they're terrified that soon they're going to have to ration care, essentially deciding who gets life-saving care and who does not. In the United Kingdom, the vaccine rollout continues as the nation goes into its second week of the third nationwide lockdown. The vaccine rollout has been successful so far, and last week, the UK approved the Moderna vaccine for emergency use. At last check, around 2 million people have already been vaccinated in the UK. With new information coming out every day, we know it can be tough to keep up. You can find the latest details about the coronavirus and how it's affecting Arizona on the 12 News app.
At 5:37, time to get you up to speed on the stories you need to know to begin your morning. A man is dead after being shot by a Phoenix police officer during a brief standoff over the weekend. 911 operators received several calls about a man walking in downtown Phoenix, shooting a gun while carrying a baby. Police believe the suspect stopped a car near 6th Avenue in Van Buren and then held the driver at gunpoint. The man then turned that gun on police. That's when one officer fired at him, hitting him at least once, and the baby was taken into protective custody afterwards. Happening today, the Arizona legislature is expected to get back to work following a COVID-19 scare late last year. Lawmakers haven't been back at the Capitol in at least 6 months. Today's session will begin with Governor Doug Ducey's virtual State of the State address. And looking ahead to tomorrow, the AIA is expected to hold another meeting to discuss winter sports. Friday, the organization announced winter sports would be canceled completely, but they are rethinking that decision at this point. Right now, it looks like winter sports is the only item on the agenda, and there could be a revote. If it's upheld, that would mean no basketball, soccer, or wrestling, as well as any other winter sport. The AIA said back in December they would start competition on January 18th, but changed course because of the pandemic. And now you're up to speed. Don't forget, you can always find the latest news on our website, 12news.com, or the free 12 News app.
Well, developing this morning, classes are canceled for more than a dozen schools in the Peoria Unified School District.
Team 12's Matt Uris is live for us this morning from Cactus High School. One of the schools shut down today. Matt, what are they saying are behind all these closures?
Good morning, Ryan. A note on the district's website says that they did not have enough staff to safely open some of the schools in their district. This, of course, because of sick-outs due to COVID-19, concerns over the metrics not being followed. And that's according to the Peoria Education Association, a teacher union of sorts. They're releasing that statement saying, again, their teachers calling out over concerns of COVID-19 metrics not being followed. To be clear, both in-person and online instruction are canceled this morning. As of now, the temporary closure includes 7 high schools and 6 elementary schools listed there on your screen. An important note here, the district's food and nutrition team will provide curbside lunches during what would be the students' normal lunch times to help out parents. Kids Zone will provide a one-day child care camp today. That's over at Copperwood Elementary, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. But keep in mind, families had to register by last night. This isn't the first school district to deal with problems due to lack of staffing here in the Valley. Remember, just last week, Chandler Unified went back to remote after the possibility of hundreds of sick-out calls over coronavirus concerns. Right now, all Arizona counties are recommended to have only virtual schooling according to DHS benchmarks. Again, right now, the closure's only in Peoria for today. The district plans to reevaluate the staffing situation later today and determine if they'll be able to reopen these or at least some of these schools come tomorrow. So stay with 12 News as this story continues to unfold. For now, live in Peoria, Matt Uris, Today in AZ.
Thank you, Matt. Still ahead on Today in AZ, the Department of Justice is not giving up any slack to Capitol rioters following the deaths of 2 Capitol police officers. What the DOJ says it plans to do next.
Hi, this is Greg Haig. Why would you sell your home the traditional way when you can have it all selling the 72 Sold way? We did what has never been done in real estate before. First, you get a higher price for your home, thousands more than if you sold any other way. Then, you get to choose your own closing date and your best move date. Thinking about selling? Just put in your address and get your price, a higher price for your home at 72sold.com. That's 72sold.com.
You work hard for your money, stretch days for it, juggled life for it, took charge for it. So care for it, look after it. Invest with the expertise of JP Morgan, either with an advisor or online through Chase. After all, it's yours. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Ora wheat bread, gathering, baking, and delivering the goodness of nature from one generation to the next, and from seed to slice.
Winning Motor Trend Truck of the Year 3 times in a row, that had never been done before. Then again, neither had a 12-inch touchscreen or 1,000 pound-feet of torque, or a truck winning Luxury Car of the Year. So winning once will always be a proud moment. Twice, an accomplishment. 3 times, well, never been done before. It's just kind of our thing.
Now get $6,300 in total values plus $500 bonus cash on the 2021 Ram 1500.
1 roast beef sandwich, 2 roast beef sandwich, 3 roast beef sandwich, 4 roast beef sandwich, 5 roast beef sandwich for $10. Arby's, we have the meats.
You started as an RN, caring for one patient at a time. But now you're being called to help more patients more often. By earning your Master's in Nursing Leadership and Healthcare Systems degree online from Grand Canyon University, you could become a leader responsible for staff development and patient care outcomes. What do you think making a difference in healthcare looks like? GCU offers over 175 high-quality online programs like this one. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
Looking for the best personal injury attorneys in Arizona? Look no further than Lerner & Rowe.
The people have spoken, and Lerner & Rowe have been voted best lawyers in the Valley
5 years in a row.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
The Weather Report is sponsored by 72 Sold, where you can sell your home in just 72 hours for thousands more than if you sold with a traditional real estate agent.
Back now on Today in AZ. Following last week's riots at the U.S. Capitol, the nation is mourning 2 Capitol police officers. Over the weekend, Officer Howard Liebengood died by suicide days after his response to the riots.
Officer Brian Sicknick also died from injuries sustained during the riots. This morning, black bunting hangs over the front door of the Capitol Police headquarters, and the flag out front flies at half-staff. Investigators say Officer Sicknick had been struck in the head with a fire extinguisher. Sicknick was a veteran of the New Jersey Air National Guard. Flags will fly at half-staff around the country, including here in Arizona.
On Sunday, thousands of law enforcement officers lined the street in Washington, D.C., saluting the procession, escorting Officer Sicknick. He had been with Capitol Police since July 2008.
Changes are already being put into place at the Capitol Police Department. U.S. Capitol Police announced Assistant Chief Yoganda Pittman will serve as acting chief. This after Chief Stephen Sund resigned in the wake of Wednesday's riot at the Capitol. The resignation was set to go into effect on January 16th, but Sund has reportedly already left the position.
The Department of Justice is already rolling out charges against Capitol rioters. 13 people were charged in federal court in the District of Columbia over the weekend. Acting U.S. Attorney Michael Sherwin says his office has been working with law enforcement partners at all levels to identify, arrest, and begin prosecuting people who took part in the, quote, brazen criminal acts at the U.S. Capitol. Sherwin says the charges are just the beginning of the FBI's efforts to hold those responsible. Well, the debate over the 25th Amendment and impeaching President Trump again rages on at the Capitol this week. There's been a lot of confusion about what would happen if the president were to be impeached.
This morning, we're bringing in the Verify team to clear up exactly what impeaching the president could mean for the White House.
Politicians talking about possibly removing President Trump from office. We've seen the question that if that happened, would Mike Pence be considered the 46th president, or would Joe Biden still be the 46th? Now, this is a numbers question, really. President Trump is currently the 45th president, and Joe Biden is the president-elect and expected to be the 46th. But what if Trump leaves office before January 20th? Well, to find out, we checked the Constitution, including the 25th Amendment, along with multiple Congressional Research Service reports. The simple answer here is that it depends. If the president resigns or is impeached and removed from office, the vice president does officially become the president of the United States. In this case, that would make Mike Pence officially the 46th president in U.S. history, and Joe Biden would then become the 47th president on January 20th. But a lot of politicians have been talking about the 25th Amendment as a way to remove a president. Section 4 of the 25th Amendment says the vice president, along with a majority of the cabinet, can write a declaration that, quote, the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of the office, and the vice president will take over. But here you'll notice it says the VP will become the, quote, acting president. That means they have the powers of the president, but they don't actually hold the office in their own right. For example, in 2002 and 2007, Dick Cheney was the acting president while George W. Bush was sedated for colonoscopies. But Dick Cheney was not considered the 44th president because of his time as acting president, so it's not likely Pence would officially be seen as the 46th president if the 25th were invoked. Okay, bottom line here. If the president resigns or is impeached and removed from office, the vice president does become the president. In this case, Mike Pence would be the 46th president. But that's not the case if the 25th Amendment is ever invoked. To Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
So the last few days of weather have just been out of this world beautiful. Now it's bringing Sun City some unlikely visitors.
I love this.
Thanks to Erlene for sharing this photo with us. Crystal, you know, the weather is beautiful when even the aliens are trying to get in on the action out there.
Now that's weather envy, huh? Bringing everybody from all galaxies, right? Well, today is now 32 dry days in a row for Phoenix without any measurable rainfall, but no shortage of incredible sunrises and sunsets. Here's just another one to add to our collection. So pretty. Well, those clouds still hanging out there from the valley all the way to the old Pueblo. So we're setting up nicely for an awesome to wow sunrise this morning. I've got the needle in the middle here, depending on your perspective and where those clouds are clinging on here. Sunrise 7:32. Be ready with the cameras and share them with us. Tonight, we're in for an extra treat as well. It's the encore performance of the triple conjunction. Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn are going to get together in this fashion here, kind of like a lopsided triangle, low in the west-southwest horizon. So look in that direction about 45 minutes after sundown, and you can catch this trio crowning the night sky. For northern Arizona, it's going to be chilly at that point, 27 degrees. You're going to get the green telescope in the valley in southern Arizona, though, as we're looking ahead to clear skies tonight across Arizona. 60 for the valley, 54 in southern Arizona. Let's talk some more numbers here for Phoenix. Okay, we've put 10 days now in the weather books. All 10 of them have walked away with below average morning temperatures and a majority with at or above average high temperatures. So quite the swing in temperatures from start to the finish of our day. And we're going to kind of see that same trend happening here with our temperature profile. A very chilly start. We're going to see those clouds skedaddle here pretty quickly, and we'll bring up those numbers to 60 degrees by lunchtime, and then the mid to upper 60s later on in the afternoon, which is very seasonable for this time of year. But let's just spring forward to spring, shall we, by the end of the work week? Yeah, Friday, that's no mistake. We're going to be nearing 80 degrees and not far from record territory. So what a turnaround as far as those temperatures. So Vanessa, if you're not crazy about the extra chill we've got going on in these mornings, just wait till the end of the week. There's 2 reasons to look forward to the weekend, right?
I'm loving that 78, yes. All right, at 5:50 this morning, traffic has eased up in the West Valley. During my last report, we had some busy traffic here on the I-10 at Dyser. There's a live picture from our ADOT camera, but it has eased up, so traffic is flowing along well. Whatever was causing that issue is cleared up and is out of the way. We also have this accident that cleared up in the East Valley. It was on 51st Street and Elliott Road. It is gone, so you no longer have to worry about that one. But let's take a look at the big picture. A lot of green on our maps at this time. However, we do have some traffic building up on the I-17 southbound Durango curve. It starts at the curve and it continues until you reach 7th Street. We see that orange and red on our maps. So you'll see, there's also some construction going on over there, so you might see some brake lights. So drive with caution.
All right, good information. We appreciate that, Vanessa. Ahead on Today in AZ, the PGA versus President Trump. Why golf officials say they're looking for a new home.
And we want to hear from you this morning. Who's the bigger star, Taylor Swift or Michael Jackson? You can weigh in right now at 12news.com/bullhorn. Why the Willow songstress has many wondering what's next for her. You're watching Today in AZ.
12 News Traffic to Go by Lerner and Rowe.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Just when you thought things were getting back to normal, bam! You're in a car wreck. Now what?
Call Lerner and Rowe, and we'll take you from wreck to check as quickly as possible.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977